Greetings. It's me, Sherry. Today, I would like to tell you how my enlightenment began, so that you will have more of an understanding of who I am. It's difficult to explain when an esoteric occurrence happens to a person. My actual experience happened with my eyes wide open. I was sitting, eating my lunch. I was at home, not feeling very well. I had been working 12-hour shifts as an addictions counselor, and I was tired. When all of a sudden I saw the world unfold, the whole universe unfold, like an old driver's map that my father would have us follow as we would travel to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. As it unfolded, I saw how everything was stuck together, how everything was connected. My eyes were open, yet I saw this image, and I realized that everything is connected. Everything in life is connected. And at first, an incredible calm came over me as I realized there was no real death, and life, most of life, is an illusion except for what we see to be true, what we know to be true. We are all part of a matrix, half of us asleep, going through day by day, while others, their eyes open. And then confusion came over me. While I was at work, I tripped on a rug and I tore my ACL. I got into a very large argument with my ex-husband. We ended up getting divorced. One night, I packed up 4 suitcases, one with my shoes, one with my clothes, one with my jewelry and hair products, and the other with my unmentionables. I threw them all into the back of my Jeep, and I left. And I spent days on the couch. Days on a couch of a friend's. Yet this confusion, it was all-encompassing. I couldn't understand, was I chosen? Was I someone important? Why was I chosen to be enlightened? Then a restlessness overtook me. I became very unhappy with my reality. I left everything behind, and I didn't care. Duality overcame me. One moment, bliss, the next confusion, then euphoria and a deep depression, freedom and entrapment. An epiphany came over me. All 5 of my senses became exaggerated and have remained so since. My sense of smell, taste, hearing, touch, everything. All 5 senses. And I would feel all of them at one time, leading up to the 6th sense that was quite frightening at times. Because the unknown is scary, and I was stuck. I wanted to see it all, but I didn't want to see it all. I was afraid of spirits, afraid of seeing bodies that were partially decomposing, afraid of what spirit would look like. And all of this fear that overcame me led to a darkness within me, where you feel everything collapsing. I lost my job. I was losing my apartment. My daughter was moving in with her father. Everything seemed to be falling apart. The day before my eviction, I planned on ending my life. Who am I? But something happened. Before I ended my life, my sister called. And I realized there was more to this life than I realized. And my focus shifted. I began to feel love and gratitude. I felt I needed to help change the world and try to find a higher purpose. I began to read and research and learn everything. I read everything esoteric. I read about quantum physics and string theory and mathematics and different religions and sex and emotions. I needed to understand. My psychic abilities increased. I began to understand synchronicity. It becomes apparent in life when you look back and you understand why things happen the way they do. And a guide came to me and told me that I had to injure my knee. I had to slow down. I was rushing through life and missing everything that actually mattered. And it was then I realized that I felt one with the universe again. I felt clarity, like I could see all, like looking through a window and seeing everything that was in front of me and everything that was behind me. And it was all happening at one time. I realized tangible items are meaningless. Anything you can hold in your hand, it doesn't matter. I had energy. I had intention. I had authentic self-emergence. It guided me to a higher purpose. Ideas fill my mind drastically. Attraction to abundance, but not of physical items. The abundance I sought was the abundance of knowledge the abundance of who I am in my own authenticity. I moved to a higher consciousness. I could see my destiny and see my life transform. I realized that I co-create my life, my world with the divine. I feel guidance with source and spirit guides, intention, and my psychic gifts expanded. When I look at people, I no longer see a physical entity. I see a soul. Some might call it an aura, but I see the spirit that lies within someone. I no longer look at people with hatred, with the negative and bad things that have happened to me. I learned forgiveness, and I forgave all those who had wronged me or harmed me in the past. Forgiveness is the greatest gift and very important. In my last webcast, I spoke about the common threads of what other prophets had seen. But I call out to you now, and I tell you that we are the masters of our destiny. We are the greatest gift on this planet. We are the ones who decide what happens in our lives. If bad things happen, we have to be prepared for them, yes. But that doesn't mean that we have to live in sorrow and fear and not knowing what will happen can be very frightening. And thinking what might happen can be even more frightening. But there is a way that we all can feel better. A way to make it through any bad things that happen within our lives. Because we are the ones who control our lives. We are the ones who control our destiny. My goal was to try and awaken people, to remind you we have one planet that we need to take care of. People drop toxic waste into our oceans, and eventually our fish will no longer be able to live, and we won't be able to eat them. Our soils have become toxic. We can no longer allow the cows to graze in different areas. All food should be organic, and yet we pay twice as much for something that's organic. And it's very wrong that the food that is the least expensive is the worst for us. Processed foods. We should be eating healthy. That's what it's meant to be. We're a nation of people who are overweight and unhealthy. We no longer understand why things happen the way they do. We no longer understand our purpose. We've forgotten who we are. I want to try and teach. I want to try and share what I have learned so that I can help as many people as possible. Since my last webcast, My vibrations have been very low because it is not my job to bring sorrow or fear or any negative emotions to anyone. My job as a light worker is to raise vibrations, to bring people to realizations of who they really are. You are not a body walking around with the soul. You are a spirit within a human body. You are having a human experience. You've forgotten who you are. Wake up. I call to you to wake up. Some people are in the third dimension, some the fourth, and some the fifth. The people who make it into the fifth dimension, those who ascend, they are the ones who will be able to make it through this very difficult time. To explain this, I'm going to have to impart to you the difference between the third, fourth, and fifth dimension, what their differences are, and what they will actually mean. So I call to you. I call to you to wake up. You're in a sleep. You are asleep. Wake up. Wake up and understand that you are why this world is here. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up.